Hi everyone, it's Kay from Kay's Creative Home, and I'm going to zoom right in so that you can see what we're working on today. I've got this cat and my working wreath form, this beautiful orange and purple glittered mesh, and then I have some ribbons that I've already cut. You can see I've got witch's hat, some orange Halloween, some spider webs, and we're going to blend this with this purple mesh and we're going to make a beautiful wreath. So let's get started by first taking our purple mesh, and I'm going to cut off this edge because I don't want that jagged stuff showing through the wreath. We'll make sure that's completely gone. Let's toss that. And now we're going to just gather up this edge and we're going to add it to the wreath frame just beyond one of my tinsel ties. Now if you never made a working wreath frame, I'll add a link to a video I did for how to make that. That'll be in the description box. And then there'll also be one in the upper corner. I'm not sure which corner it'll be in, but there'll be a link there too. And what I've done now is gathered it and put it on the wreath frame and added a zip tie to the end so it's nice and secure. Alright, so we're going to do 10-inch posts. And I hear people say on other channels that if you go to the second tinsel tie, or you will be about the same as 10 inches. So I was just measuring there just to see, and yep, it was almost like right on the money. So if you want to do it that way, you can. Or I'm still using my cutting board to measure my 10 inches of mesh. And I'm going to work my way around here and add it to the bottom ring and to the upper ring. Now let me tell you, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess just jumping in and getting started, trying to get it done. You may want to start on the inner ring, because once I got this outer ring done, I had to really work to get the inner ring done because the mesh was just catching on the bottom one that was already completed. So just as a tip, do your inner rings first. And yeah, some of my little tinsel ties are moving. Usually I glue them down and they work just fine, but I'm just wrapping it around again to make sure it's good and tight. Alright, so again, just you may want to do your inner ring first and then your outer ring. So okay, so I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be right back. So as I finish that first outer ring, I'm taking the mesh and tying it down into that tinsel on the inner ring. And then I'm going to just start my 10-inch poofs and make my way around on the inner ring. And when I finish this ring, I'll again stop and let you see how I did the zip tie at the beginning and one at the end, just to make sure that this mesh stays in place, stays neat. So once I get finished all this, I'm going to work on my poofs to make sure they're nice and full, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Be right back. So as I said earlier, I am fluffing out my, call them bubbles, but fluffing out my poofs that I've put around this wreath form. And I'm doing that by just lifting my hand underneath on each side and just spreading out the mesh as much as possible without pulling the edges out. I would like for those sides to stay tucked under. They're finished edges and it won't matter if they're showing a little bit, but it just looks a little neater when they're tucked inside. Okay, so once we finish that, the next thing we want to do is to start adding some things to our wreath. So this orange and purple mesh has been cut into 10-inch pieces, and it is 10 inches wide And of course, I was so busy getting prepared for the video that I forgot to leave one to show you how I made my Woodland Ruffle. So basically, as you seen, or as you just saw, I took both ends and curled them and then just gathered it in the center. So this is a piece of ribbon that when I cut it, there was a connection in the ribbon where it had been cut and they spliced it or something. So what I did was just held that piece until I got to the end, and I had just enough at the end of my roll to make like half of a ribbon, a half of a tail. So these tails are 12 inches long. So I took it was about a 7-inch piece of ribbon and put it with the piece of ribbon that was messed up, and ended up with having like 2 7-inch pieces put together so that I could make that 12-inch piece just by overlapping them. That way, where they're connected was in the center, which is where I'm going to gather the ribbons or gather the tail, so it's not going to matter, it won't be seen. But if I had left it as it was, that cut splice part would have been right near the end of the tail, and it would have been just very obvious, at least to me. So there's a thought that if you end up with that spliced ribbon like that and you don't have a lot of ribbon, just hopefully at the end you'll have enough extra to make sure that the connection is in the center. So I folded my ribbon so I'll know where the center point is for each tail, and you can see I gathered a ribbon. I've added it to a Woodland Ruffle for my other mesh, and I'm adding it to the reform, starting this time on the inner circle, so I won't be reaching all over and past the outer edge to get to it. So I just put it in between my tinsel ties there and twisted it in tightly and cut the end, and then just tuck that tinsel tie under. So again, I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to gather in the center and then add it to a Woodland Ruffle here. And then I'm going to add it into the reform into the next tinsel tie. Twist it tightly. Cut that edge off because it's plenty of tinsel tie left, and then tuck the ends in so that that wire won't be sticking out and can cut anybody. Now what I chose to do is, of course, to alternate my ribbons. So the first one has the Halloween words with the spider web, and the next one have the witches hats with the orange ribbon that says Happy Halloween. But my mesh has 2 colors. So on the first 2, you can see I did orange and I laid it down so that the orange was to my left. Yeah, it's showing up on your left too. And the purple to the right. And then I did the second one the same way. And then I realized I reversed it on the third one right here. It's in there with a tinsel tie. It's wire. It twists. It moves. So I just twisted it around. I didn't even have to undo it. Twisted it around and made it the same direction because I wanted that formatting. I wanted that sequencing to continue. So as they go on around, I made sure that I kept that as orange, purple, orange, purple, orange, purple. That way it'll look more even. The color distribution will look really even in the end. And at least I liked it this way. So that's I guess a hint or a thought that you might want to consider. So I'm now folding up my tails for the bottom layer. And I want to mention here that because I kind of alternate what I do on the bottom layer, so this time I'm starting with a different ribbon than what's going to be directly above it. And I'm going to flip the way I put my mesh in. So now it'll go purple to orange. Yep, see as I get myself straight here. It is going to go, so the one right above it has orange to purple, and beneath it is purple to orange, so that it won't have the exact same colors on top of each other. You know, the tinsel ties on the bottom round or different places than the top. Eventually you may have a little bit of overlapping. For the most part, it'll be different. So I've got my witch's hat ribbon on the top and my Halloween words on the bottom. And you can see there, excuse us while I'm getting my scissors straight here, they fell on the floor. But you can see here the top one went orange to purple and the bottom one reversed that and has purple to orange. just to give it more contrast and, you know, make your wreath look more interesting so you don't have one color all grouped together. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding this mesh and these ribbon tails all the way around the bottom edge. And again, I'm going to just keep alternating. So you saw I have the Halloween words in the first ribbon. The next ribbon you see I'm putting in has the Halloween hats, so the witches hats. And I'm going to work my way all the way around, and then I'll be right back. So the next step is to add my cute little Halloween cat. He is quite a trip, but you will notice on the wreath, I forgot to mention earlier, at least I don't think I did, that the bottom ribbon is kind of fluffed out and spread out. The top ribbon is not, because I was waiting to see where the cat sat on the wreath, and then I wanted to fluff out the ribbon around him neatly. So I'm trying to just situate him in the wreath because he is 3D. He is not like a flat picture. So I actually have to get him into the wreath a little bit so that he's not sitting up too high, because these wreaths are already like 6 inches tall. And if I add another 3 inches, it will never fit into a box for shipping. So I'm kind of getting him into the mesh so that he's kind of peeking out. He's kind of hidden and surrounded into the wreath. So I'm taking a tinsel tie and I'm attaching it to the two legs that are inside, that are into the wreath's mesh, the bottom ones, and I'm just wrapping a tinsel tie around there, giving it a little twist, and then I'm going to feed those tinsel ties through the wreath, and then I'm just going to attach it to the frame on the back. And because of how he's made with this little, it's like a glittery tinsel too, or glittery tinsel also, that tinsel tie just kind of blends right in. It gets hidden into the layers of the tinsel and the cat, so you don't see it. And besides, like I said, it's on the bottom layer, which is kind of within the wreath, so it's hidden. And then when I get to the attaching some other parts, I'll let you know what I did there. If you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you're not a family member, don't forget to hit the button and ring the bell so you'll be notified when new videos are released. Alright, I hope you're enjoying this. This is this my first Halloween wreath of the season? Can't even remember. I think it is. But at any rate, there'll be more. So here you're seeing that I'm taking the next tinsel tie and actually feeding it through the frame on his tail so that it's completely underneath and hidden. I didn't have to wrap it around the entire tail. It's going through the frame and underneath. And you see I'm giving it a twist there so that I can stick it through my wreath. And then I'm going to end up doing the same thing near his head. So I got feed this one through to the back, and then of course it'll get attached to my wreath frame in the back. And then I'm going to take my last tinsel tie and feed it through, it's kind of like his neck area, and I'm going to give it a little twist. I just fed through the first part, you know, maybe what 3 inches or so, and give it a little twist there so it's secure. And then I'll feed that longer end of the tinsel tie through the wreath frame again and attach it to the back. And when I say attaching, I'm just working it by wrapping it around the wire of the wreath frame. So now that I've got him all secure, I am going to start fluffing this ribbon around him on that top layer. You know, I'll touch up some on the bottom layer too, of course, because as you're working with the wreath, sometimes I forget, pull it too close and I'm brushing up against it, and you kind of mess up the direction of the ribbon. So I'll go back and fluff all that out, get everything looking nice and cute, nice and secure, and then we'll be ready to share some pictures. I hate when my PC does that while I'm recording, and one day I'm gonna figure out how to turn off those notifications, and I don't even know what that little thing is for. So at any rate, I have gotten him attached securely. Like I said, I'm going to fluff out this ribbon tails, or these ribbon tails, getting him looking all cute. And then we'll be sharing some more pictures. What I find is so funny is his body is facing me, but look at his eyes. Don't they look like they're pointing up to you? Look at them. Oh, that's a little creepy. I noticed that as I was editing the video. I'm like, why are his eyes looking so far up in the air? Like he's looking at the viewer instead of at me. But anyway, here's my cute little cat wreath for Halloween. I hope you like it. And again, don't forget to become a family member so you won't miss some of the other videos coming up real soon. I'm trying to move into doing, I was struggling with keeping up one a week, but now I'm trying to rearrange my schedule so that I can get in 2 videos a week from now through the end of the year, because I just have so many ideas for Halloween and for Christmas. And also I want to mention I am loading a ton of things into my Etsy shop, trying to just load daily. I have a lot of wreath supplies and wreaths that I'm making, and the supplies are just because I bought too much. Can you imagine someone buying too many craft items? But at any rate, I have a few I'd like to share, and they'll be at really reasonable prices. So I hope you'll take the time to stop and check out my Etsy shop. And it's the same name there, KaysCreativeHome, and you'll also see a link in the description box. From now until the end of July, I have a coupon code you can use that just says save 20, and you will get a 20% discount off of any purchases that are $30 or more. All right, I thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.